intro here. Hey, good morning and happy Thursday, everyone here. This is Robin, and I'll be the trainer and I'll be the host for this Indian ASET 104 technology program here. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I have around 18 years of experience on in Microsoft and a decade of experience on in the multi-cloud platform here. I've been working as a Microsoft certified trainer, and we've been working as a Microsoft solution architect for AVD, Entra ID, Active Directory, cloud security, and the cloud administration. That's about my profile here. So before getting on to this training one, let's have a small intro from your side here. Uh, you can use the chat window since we have a large audience has been joined here. We'll try to use our chat window for having a small intro from your side. Let's make a small intro. Your good name, from where you have been connected, and what is your experience on in the Microsoft Azure here. So have you attended any other Microsoft course, or are you holding any other certifications, and what is your experience on in AVD also. In case if you don't have any experience on in the AVD side, at least you can give a line here like I'm new to this AVD here. So that will help me to plan the things well in advance here. So whenever I start having any kind of a discussion, in case if you're a fresher, then I can start from the scratch also here. So let's have a small intro from your side here. You can use the chat window. Let's have a small intro from your side. So thank you, team. I can see people are start updating you. Malaysia got experience on in Azure here, new to the Azure. Thank you, Suman. And others also, we can just post your experience on in Azure. How many of them have in having a knowledge on in the Azure side? Is anyone has been new to the cloud here? You can just post that details on the chat here. We can see only 3 people have been commented here. So we can see Madhav from Nepal, then Muhammad Akram has been working on in Azure here. Good, thank you. Madhav is from the Nepal and have worked on in Azure, but no to this cloud here. Okay. We have Habitudes from Bangladesh. Okay. I can see most of the members are new to the cloud. Yeah. We'll wait 1 more minute for people to give an intro here. Great. Thank you for giving an introduction here. Since we have a lot of people has been new to the cloud here, the agenda for today's session here. So you maybe already got an idea like how sessions are planned here. Surya is already given a detailed intro about the facilities, given an intro about there will be a facility, it's been provided for getting materials, everything, right? So these sessions we have been planning 3 to 4 hours in a day here. So today we'll be starting 10 a.m. IST here, and it will be continuing till 1 p.m. IST. And the similar time, say the same time, we are planning to have a one more round of a session tomorrow also here. Since we have a people new to the cloud here, we'll be starting from a little scratch here. We'll try to understand about Azure core component. Then we'll try to understand about where should we learn cloud computing. And in case if you are moving on to this AVD here, Microsoft has been providing many certifications on in the cloud here, right? You may be able to see like you have a many AVD solutions or many certification Microsoft is been providing. So where is your AVD certification is coming? Is it an associate program, or in case if anyone want to go on into the Microsoft AVD exam here, do we need to go for any kind of any prerequisite exam here? So you may be able to say like, do we need to write any additional certification, or do we need to hold any other certification well in advance here? So technically, I'm trying to give you a mentorship here, trying to see like from where you can able to start your journey. Then in case if you want to get this AVD solution or AVD certificate, what are the other certification you need to opt it here? So as I said, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, having an 18 years of experience on in Microsoft and other cloud technologies here. And I'll be providing you all the recordings and the materials which will be covering more on into the case study and real-time scenario-based questions also here. So that's the way the session is been planned here. Now, about the classroom experience here, Suraj has been already given a intro here. Like we have a 4 hours of a daily sessions today and tomorrow here. Then rest all it's been like it's a professionally. It's like you can able to manage. Depends upon your situations here. In case if you have an outage or if there is any priority calls or it's like any other regular activity you need to be involved, you can join. We can. You can just post it on the chat here, and the sessions are recorded here. So in case if you want to access in the later stage, we'll be providing that also here. So that's about the classroom experience here. Now, moving on to this, how we are planning this sessions here. You may be knowing like Microsoft is an ocean here. So whenever you start learning this cloud computing here, a lot of services or modules are coming here. So it's been very easy to implement when you are seeing on in the portal here. But as gradually if you move, as a human, we forget things here, right? So we expect the people to make a note of this one here. So in case if you want to have any kind of a reference, that will be helpful for your future here. So we are expecting the people to have a active learning here, review the notes here, and try to take a notes and on in your OneNote or in an eNote here. So that's about the facility side here. And how I'm planning to deliver this session here, I'll be using a presentations here, and I'll be showing you a whiteboard, and we'll have a visual drawings, and we'll be showing a live simulations also, and three type of questions or assessment we are planning here. One is been like your in training assessment. Second one is be like your post training assessment, and pre training we are not taking because we have people have a new to the cloud here. So that's about the our approach on the training part here. Now, I'll start with the questions here. Now, everywhere we are discussing about moving on into a cloud computing here. Let me start a question with what is the reason you decided like I'll be moving on to a cloud computing here? So, what do you thought? So, can you comment it on the chat here? So, what is the reason you think like I need to move on into a cloud technology here, or it's like I need to learn a cloud computing here? Can you comment it on the chat? What do you think, team? So, in case if someone want to move on into a easy to deploy here, okay. So we are getting a couple of answers on the chat here. Let me make a note of this here. So I can see there is a comment has been coming on the chat. It's very easy to deploy here, okay. I'll just so we are getting a comment here. It's like easy to deploy here. Okay, that's been good point. Easy to deploy. Okay, what else? We can see like OPEX here, like easy to deploy. Then OPEX is the only charge has been coming here. Okay, great. Then OPEX is the only charge has been coming here. Then low capital expenditure here. Kamal, normally we can say like there is no capex also here, right? Because Microsoft has been investing on that part here. So we used to say that it's a low capex cost has been coming here. Okay, good. So low capex cost. Okay. What else? Any other important point do you think need to be covered here? So basically, like if you take here, Microsoft has been providing you a global reach of facilities here, and that means you can able to go and deploy the solution across the globe here. And normally it's like if you take a Microsoft side here, there is no capex has been coming. It's working in a kind of a pay as you go model here. So when you go on to the cloud here, you may be able to see like it's been working in a model. It's like a kind of a pay as you go model here. That means based on the consumption, based on the consumption, we are paying the money to the Microsoft here. So that's about the pay as you go model on into the Microsoft here. And when you are moving on to this cloud technology here, whether it's a AVD or it's like whether it's a Azure VM, if you can able to say the complete road or the business is been moving on to the cloud computing here, and you are going to see there is a huge demand and there is a lot of job opportunity we are getting on in the market here. So if you learn the AVD or it's like if you learn any other cloud technology here, the market has been moving on to AI based or it's like market has been moving on to a cloud based approach here. So definitely this is going to give you a lot of internal job opportunity or a external job opportunity for you. So request everyone to start enabling a skill set, either it on in a cloud or a or a SRE based or it's like a DevOps or a kind of a skill set here. That's really the market is being needed here. And on the Microsoft side, you may be able to see there are a lot of certifications or a program we run it on in for enabling a people here. Whatever certifications or courses materials are freely available on in our portal here. So if anyone want to enable by yourself, you can visit our portal or you can able to get the material recordings. There are few free webinars also it's been available here. We used to deliver like a similar kind of a webinar on every week here. So please join our WhatsApp group, community link or a Discord link where you can able to get all the training program details here. It's not on in AVD here. You can see Surag has been coordinating on into a different verticals here. It can be on in a Dynamics or a Power BI or a software development or it's like enabling new services or a new technology on in the Microsoft side here. We have a lot of program every week we are delivering here. So please follow our channels here. So that will help you to get a latest notification on the training programs and the calendar also here. So that's about the facility side. Yeah. Now, give me a moment. So that's about the learning cloud here. This is the one slide recently how we now seen it on in the internet here. Uh, it's like by 2025, not 2024 here. Currently, if you take any organizations here, only the 60% of the resources only it's been like currently it's been working. It's in a kind of in a legacy kind of a model here. So the organizations are nowadays it's been start putting some extra effort to enable your people here. So basically, like all the organization want the people needs to be upgraded with the latest model here. So that is the way the organizations are working here. So right now, if you take any organizations here, the requirement is to have a all the resources will be enabled with the latest skill set here. So you may be able to see like if you take any organization, you have a lot of a similar kind of program they will be hosting here that will ensure that our resources will be enabled with the latest technologies here. So that's about the skill or the Microsoft cloud certifications idea. Now, moving on to the Microsoft side here, you may be heard about a concept called CSP here, right? Have you heard about a word called CSP here? Anyone has been heard about called CSP? You may be heard about a word called ISP here, right? Internet Service Provider here, right? How many of them have been heard a word called ISP? ISP is like Internet Service Provider here, right? So the company or it's like the vendor who normally it's been like a provide internet connection to your home. It's normally it's been known as a ISP here, right? Which ISP provider currently are using here? Can you comment it on the chat? So I'm not seeing any comment on the chat here. So you may be able to say like you have a AT&T or a British Telecom or like Timeline or like a Birdlink or a Maxis, or it's like if you're connected from India, you may be having airlines, Tata. There are many vendors are available here who normally provide the internet connection here. Similar way you can able to see on in the internet also, especially onto the cloud side. You have a new term is been coming called CSP here. CSP stands for Cloud Service Provider here. So the vendor who normally provide a cloud solution to us here, it's basically known as a cloud service provider here. So the vendor who is capable to provide internet connections here, it's been known as a cloud service provider here. And you may be able to see like there are many players are available onto the Microsoft or it's like other vendors also on the market here who normally handle cloud solutions here. Microsoft is the one leading vendor who normally provide a cloud solution here. And the product available from the Microsoft, it's basically known as a Microsoft Azure here. So any cloud product from the Microsoft, it's been known as a, it's known as a Azure here. So that is a way it's been configured here. So don't think that only the Microsoft Azure is been available here. You may be able to see like there are many other competitors also available onto the market here. You may be able to see like you have a option has been available onto the cloud here. You may be able to see like Amazon has been available here. Like you may be able to see like you have option has been available from Amazon also here. Amazon product normally it's been known as a AWS here. So the cloud product available from a Amazon, it's basically known as a AWS, and the cloud product available from a Google, it's known as a GCP here. And if you take a vendors here, so like other vendors, it's not that only Microsoft or Amazon or a Google are available here. You can see there are many other players also available in the market here, like Alibaba or HP or it's be like VMware or a Salesforce. There are many other players also available in the market who normally it's been provide this solution here. So you have a different vendors are available here who normally it's been providing cloud solution here. So we are going to focus on into the Microsoft here, and in the Microsoft Azure, we are going to specifically are going to review a service called AVD solutions here. So you have a different services Microsoft has been showing here, and we are going to discuss about one of the component inside the Azure service that's called AVD here. So I'll be covering fundamentals part here, then I'll walk you through this AVD concept little more here. So when you are going on to the Microsoft side here, you may be able to see like you can able to see like you may be able to see like you have a options are available here. You can able to see like Microsoft Azure, Amazon, or it's like other vendor products are available here. You can see like there are many players are available onto the market here. So we are going to focus on into the Microsoft Azure solution side here. Now, moving on to this AVD side here, or before moving on to the AVD here, Microsoft has been providing you a role-based approach here. Role-based approach means that Microsoft has been organized or it's been like arrange all the services on in a more job specific or it's been like a specialized mode here. That means if you visit on into the Microsoft portal here, Microsoft has been providing you almost like 200 plus services or a products here. Now, based on your job role, you can able to go and pick the right certification or a right training programs here. So that means you don't need to learn all the 200 here. In case if you are working as a AVD expert here, there is a dedicated courses or a dedicated programs available here. You can able to focus on that specialized program here. Similar way, you can able to see Microsoft providing a certifications or a role basic training on into a different platform here. It can be the Azure administration program, or it's be like a solution architect program here, or it's like a DevOps program, or you may be able to see like a SAP or a modern desktop administrator kind of a program here. So basically, like you may be able to say like there are different program Microsoft has been supported here. So that's the way the sessions or it's been normally it's been handling here. Now, moving on into the training or it's like analytic part here. If anyone has been planning to have a sessions on in a AVD or any other program here, please ensure that you are completing a training first year, that means a self-study or your instructor-led program you have been completing first year, then you can go for the assessment year. Because most of the time we are seeing people are going jumping directly onto the badges, but when you are coming onto the practical side, they are getting a lot of escalations, or most of the times people are not able to configure that one. Finally, that may be leading to a lot of issues or outages, or even people terminations also. So the request from the our side, if anyone has been planning to switch your career or planning to have any kind of a courses here, ensure that you are doing a practical labs here. Then you may be able to see like there are many courses are available here. So ensure that you are completing a training first year. Then you can able to prepare yourself a self studies or documents or a case study based scenarios, refer the books here, then go for the certification program here. So don't jump directly onto the certification side directly here. And if you review this Microsoft certification programs here, Microsoft has been very beautifully organized their certifications or courses here. In one side, you can able to see Microsoft has been providing the fundamentals courses. On the other side, you can able to see like associate program. On the other side, you can able to see like a program, and you have a specialized program like AVD or a SAP or a security sites are available here. Now, you may be having a question here. I'm working as an AVD expert here. I want to do a AVD certification. So which course I need to do here? So what is the courses options are here? If you take a Microsoft side here, you have a fundamentals courses are available. Then you have a associate program available. You have a expert program has been available here. Now you may be having a question, where is my AVD has been coming here? So, or is there any kind of a prerequisites we have here? Or do I need to do any kind of a pre certification on into a Microsoft AVD exam? That may be the one question normally people will have. So if you take Microsoft AZ 140, if you take Microsoft certifications here, Microsoft has been given or it's been organized the certification with the numbers here. So if you see here the Microsoft side here, Microsoft certification numbers are normally it's been given. If you take this numbers here, you can see all the certifications Azure has been starting with AZ series here. Any certification which has been related to the security and the complaint, you may be able to see like it's been starting with the SE series here, and you may be able to see like anything it's been coming onto the data science or a data platform, you may be able to see like DP series here. And if any program is been related to Microsoft 365, you may be able to see the program is been coming, it's in a MS series here. So that's MS series you can see here. You can visit Microsoft page here. If you can just go to the Microsoft page here, let me give you that. You can just visit Microsoft. You can just visit Microsoft certifications. You can just give the heading Microsoft certifications here. This will be taken to a learn.microsoft page here. You can just visit here. You can just go to this. You can see like just visit the page here. I just pasting this link on the chat here. You can visit the Microsoft page here. Give me a moment here, please. Okay, this is the website you can able to visit here. If you select Microsoft Learn.Microsoft page here, you may be able to see like there are different certification Microsoft has been organized here. On the left side, you may be able to see all the products which has been supported by the Microsoft here. If you select the Azure courses here, I'm just selecting like Azure is the course here, and on the left side you may be able to see like different roles here. So in case if you are a architect, or it's like you are working as a security engineer, or if you are beginner, or it's like intermediate or advanced, based on that you can able to select the courses here. For example, like I want to do a certification on in a virtualization here, so I can just select here. I just selecting like in Azure, I'm going to take it like AVD solutions here. So I can see this is like more on into AVD courses here. It's on in the compute side maybe. Or you can just select like an administrator program. You can see like is it Azure administrator program discovery. Then you can see Microsoft is given all the skill set here. See, you can see your AVD certification. It's been coming under the administrator category here. If you open this one here, this is completely it's been giving a detailed details about the Microsoft AVD services or a courses here. So if you take a Microsoft course here, Microsoft AVD courses has been considered it's a kind of a unique program here. You have a fundamentals programs are available, which normally talks about fundamentals part like cloud computing, data platform, or it's like artificial intelligence. All that part has been covered under the all that part has been covered under the fundamental courses here. In associate courses, you may be able to see like administrative programs, or it's like you can able to see like you have a solutions are available on into a AVD. So all this is can be considered as a it's a kind of a specialized program here. And any exam it's been coming on to the architect side, all that it's been covered under the expert program here. So in overall, what I'm trying to discuss here, Microsoft um, AZ 140 exam. So that is the exam number which normally you are seeing on into the AVD side here. So Microsoft AZ 140 exam, it's going to be a unique and specialized exam or a program that begins with the foundational topics in the AZ104 AZ10 exam, that's the associate exam, and then focus on attention on into a very specialized on into the designing or a implementation or a management of a virtual machines and the services on into the AVD side here. So if you take the test or the skill set part here, so if you go on back onto the Microsoft page here, I'm just trying to show you this page here. If you take talk about this how the skills are tested here, so it tests against the knowledge and experience you will need to be successful in managing the AVD implementation, especially we are moving on to the production side here. So I'll be covering about 6 modules here. The first one is like I'll be introducing about what is your mission for completing this Azure certifications here? Because people may be knowing like there are many certificates that are available here. So I'll try to discuss about how this sessions or a webinar has been aligned with the AZ140 certification, and we'll start exploring the resources that you will need to provision if you want to plan for any of these courses on into AZ140 here. So take a scenario like if you have been assigned or if you have been tasked with a designing or managing a Azure Virtual Desktop environment. This webinar it's going to be a first stop in brushing up of all these skills for your success here, and then from here you will be ready to continue with your learning path. As we plan our AVD architecture, we'll be discussing about implementing on into a AVD infrastructure side here. We'll be discussing about manage identity and the security or managing user environments or applications here. And finally, we'll be discussing about monitoring and maintaining the AVD structure here. So that's about the overall course overview here. Any questions so far here? Any questions from anyone? You can just comment it on the chat. Any questions? If you're good, you can just comment that also. You're good. At least that will ensure that we both are on the same page here. So far, if you're good, can you comment it on the chat, please? Thank you. I can see there is a one comment. So you maybe notice here, if you see this page here, right? I just already given a link on the chat here. If you take this overview or the course contents here, on the Microsoft, any courses here, it's not AVD alone. All the handouts or the materials are readily available on the portal itself. If you take this courses here, like if you click here, you will be getting a handouts and all the requirements with you, right? You may be able to see like, so you may be able to see like, you can able to see like by default, you can able to configure it on the cloud here, right? You may be able to see like you have a option has been available where you can see like your AVD or it's like all your environments, everything you can maybe you can able to see on in the Microsoft portal itself here. Now, moving on to this course part here, if you just connect it on the portal here, if you just go on to the Microsoft portal, you may be seeing like all the courses or the handout is readily available here. You can see here all the material has been readily available here. And if you talk about the course contents here, Microsoft AVD or Azure Virtual Desktop, you can see it's like a broad topic. You may be able to see like it covers mostly it's like multiple disciplines and technologies across the entire Microsoft stack here. If you see here like which we are talking about networking technologies here, which normally it's been concluding or it's been like including the connectivity services here or it's like application delivery services. We are going to discuss about network architecture here. We'll be discussing about working on into a virtual machines or a containers or a compute solutions here, and we'll be discussing about a couple of the on-premises virtualization topic also here. So in a normally I'm just trying to discuss here, when you start working onto a cloud here, you can see like Microsoft AVD, it's a kind of a broad topic it's been covering or it's like included multiple Microsoft disciplines or technologies here. So as someone who has been working on with VDA for a decade or more than a year, I can confidently say Azure VDA or it's like Azure Virtual Desktop, it's going to be a managed service here. That doesn't mean you can just set it or configure it and forget it here. So you may be able to see like there are a lot of services are coming here. So in this course, we are going to establish a baseline for what to expect in this rest of the modules here. And that compromise here, learning path here. So as already mentioned a couple of times here, Azure Virtual Desktop, it's a broad topic that will cover multiple Microsoft technologies. So this webinar will dig into more about a prerequisite knowledge you should have before moving on to the entire learning path here. Then we'll be reviewing about the high level exam skills here, and we'll review the objectives and how they map to the courses on into the learning path here. Then we'll be discussing about a brief introduction about AVD services and how architecture that support it here. Finally, I'll be discussing about best practices here. What are the requirements we needed for doing your labs here that you can set up to follow your labs here. So that is the way the session is been planned here. Now, when you are moving on to the learning path here, so I was just mentioning about learning path here, right? So the goal of the entire webinar here, it's kind of a twofold here. Of course, I want you people to go and prepare, sit and prepare for the AZ 140 exam here. But same time, I also want you to get ready to deploy or manage the Microsoft AVD solution on your own environment or your own projects also here. If you take Microsoft certifications here, so certifications are always it's a great and certainly it's a way to differentiate yourself from a crowded job market here, right? So in case if you have a badges here, at least that will differentiate what you are or it's like what your skill set here. But once you hired or once you got a job here, you should probably be able to actually do the things here, right? And thus like my mission, like all this our mission, is to prepare actually to use the AVD solution here, and in the process you will learn about what you need to know to pass the exam here. So this learning path has been broken to a couple of modules here. including the introduction which currently we are doing. The second course will be discussing about plan and AVD architecture here. So I'll just planning to discuss like when you're just coming on to the module part here. So I'll be divided this module into 6 modules here. The first one I'll be discussing about a planning. The second course I'll be discussing about plan and AVD architecture here. So the first module will be discussing about, I'll just mark it on the whiteboard here. So the first module we are going to discuss about introduction to AVD. Then we'll be discussing about a plan and AVD architecture here. I'll just take it as a plan architecture. Then you can able to see like implement an AVD architecture. Implement an AVD architecture. Then we can see like a plan and implement. We just discuss about plan and implement. So the next module, like once it's been completed here, uh, second module, I said like it's about a plan and AVD architecture. It's all about the planning and design phase of your AVD deployment. In case if you don't have any solid plan in place, most of the time you will end up with a deployment that is difficult to manage and that may be not able to meet your business area. So with our excellent plan in place here, you will be able to move to your third module here. That's about implementing an AVD architecture here. So we'll be discussing about implementing an AVD architecture here. That will talk more about how to take your design and make it a reality here. We'll dig into the nuts and bolts of the standing up on AVD pools here. We'll have a discussion about a host pool. We'll try to have a discussion about a session host. Then we'll discuss about how do we integrate with the Azure AD, that's the Entra ID, and your traditional ADDS, that means your Active Directory. And then we'll be discussing about speaking of identity here, we'll be discussing about identity and security side. That will be cover more about the identity option for your AVD, and we'll discuss about how to secure or validate your AVD deployment part, and as per the Microsoft best practices here. And that's the plan and implement identity and security. That's going to be the third module. So that's a module we are going to discuss. Plan and module the security here. Then we'll discuss about plan and implement user environments here. We'll discuss about the third module. It's like a plan user environment here. And finally, we'll discuss about monitor and maintain the AVD architecture here. So we'll discuss about the monitor or the maintenance part here. So that's the way it's been like it's been planned here. In case if anyone want to go for any kind of a courses here, you can able to see here. So this is the way the courses has been organized here. You can able to see like your option has been available here. You can see here. You can see this is the module we have been covering onto the AVD side here. So we'll be discussing about identity and security that I already discussed. Like we'll be discussing about various identity option for your AVD. Then we'll validate about how we secure or validate your AVD solution. And then we'll be talking more about user profile solutions here. We are going to focus more on heavily on into a FS logics on this course here. But no need to worry if you have never heard about the FX logic topic here. We'll be covering the basics and get you up to the speed onto the FS logic part here. And final module, it's about managing of your AVD module here. that really we are encompassing on into two activities here. One is be like monitoring on the environment here for the performance or health or the cost part, which we'll do with the Azure Monitor or Azure Advisor here. And then we'll be discussing about how do you protect your environment with the automation or a backup and recovery. And for the master part here, we'll be aligning this with all the Microsoft ASIC converti exam objective here. So that's about the overall plan for the entire module here. So that's the way the session is been configured, or that way the session is been planned here. Now, any questions before moving on to the AVD part here? Okay. Now, before you start your journey with planning or deployment on your AVD architecture, possibly it's good to have a, or it's probably to have a good idea to understand about what exactly this AVD here. So, team, what is your understanding about AVD here? If someone has been talking about AVD here, what is your understanding about AVD part here? You maybe heard about AVD solutions here, right? So right now I'm going to discuss about what exactly this AVD here. What is the benefit you are going to get a AVD solution here? So team, what is your idea about AVD here? What is your current understanding here? If someone has been saying like, yes, I can have a AVD solution here. So what is your understanding? Can you comment it on the chat? Can you comment it on the chat? What is your AVD? Like if someone has been saying like AVD solution, what is your understanding here? So I'm not seeing any answers on the chat here. Anyway, let me explain here. It's a virtual desktop, agree here. Now, if you take today's sessions here or today's webinar here, we are going to explore AVD solution for your end user with a desktop or a app virtualization service here. So in a short term, you will be hearing about it's like AVD here. So the expansion of AVD, it's like a Azure Virtual Desktop here. Technically, this has been built on top of your Azure infrastructure as a service here. So if you take a Microsoft portal here, this has been considered as it's a kind of a service here. If you just go to this Microsoft portal here, let me open this service here. I'll just show you this as a service. I hope you can able to see this screen here. Right now, if you take Microsoft services here, Microsoft has been offering a couple of services here. Like if you select the whole services here, Microsoft has been offered 200 plus service program here. You may be able to see like how a 200 plus program, or it's like a 200 plus services Microsoft has been delivering here. You may be knowing here like if it has been, you may be able to see like if you take Microsoft side here, 200 plus services it's been provided here. If you take a compute options here, inside your compute option, you will be able to see like Azure Virtual Desktop. So this has been considered, or it's been built on top of your Azure infrastructure as a service here. So all the infrastructure services, such as your brokering, or it's like a web access, or it's been like a load balancing and management for a monitoring and setup solution, it's completely managed by the Microsoft here. So that's why the reason it's been considered it's a kind of a desktop as a service here. Also, it's been built on top of the Azure here. It gives you the access to the Windows 10 Enterprise multi-session, which is the only available on in Azure. That's fully compatible with your Office 365 Pro Plus applications. And if you take the Azure Virtual Desktop, it's a desktop and app virtualization services that's completely has been running onto the Microsoft Cloud here. So that means it work across the different devices and operating system like Windows, or it's like a Mac, or it's like iOS or Android, or if you're using any of the Linux for your clients, you can able to use here. Even it can be accessed through any of the HTML web browsers here. It provides you your end user with the best native experience, so the users have a freedom to access the virtual desktop from any devices over the internet and using any supported operating system or a devices here. So with the help of your FS logic, you can benefit the profile containers here that dynamically it's been attached to the host sessions here. So a user will immediately have this their profile configuration and appearance same it's every time when they jump into different host sessions here. Also, if you take a AVD solution, you provide your end user with a personal persistent desktop. For example, like you have a management, you have a managed the required isolated VM for a specific activity that they do utilize the even out of working hours or powering on whenever they need or powering off whenever they are not required such kind of a requirement. You can provide such host session capability as well as the added value for a security features that offer like a reverse connect. So you are reducing the risk involved or having in a remote desktop accessible from anywhere on the specific port requirement. With a reverse connect capability, you don't require open any inbound for your environment here. So that may be the advantage you are going to get it here. So AVD is a best desktop as a service solution that provide you to the native user experience on the cloud with a minimum cost here. So it's been delivered with a multi-session experience on in a Windows 10, which it's available only on in Azure here. I'm not saying it on in any other providers here. It give you the employees or the user with a hybrid simplicity to access the entire work from anywhere here. So it does it. It's the support security capability of keeping your organization safe. It does not require any huge end user training, or it's been providing with them any of the Windows 10 native experience here. Let's go and check this services in deep here. We'll try to see what is the kind of the benefit which you are going to get it with the help of the AVD solution here. So the first part I'm trying to discuss about, in case if you start using an AVD solution, what is the benefit you are going to get it here? So let's try to have a the benefit part here. In case if you are trying to use it a AVD solution, what is the benefit you are going to get it the Microsoft side here? So we'll do one thing. We'll take a 5 minutes break here. Then we'll move on into the AVD benefit here. Then we'll try to see a couple of the practical here, like how do we configure the infrastructure here. We'll try to see like how do we install the host pool or other components also here. So let's take a small quick break here. Then we'll try to see like how do we implement host pool other components here. Try to discuss about different topic here. Let's take a 5 minutes break and be back. Questions here. One is like, please explain the difference between a VM and a AVD here. Second one is like, can this AVD handle multiple sessions or a user? So answer is yes. I'll be explaining or I'll be covering all that topic in the upcoming modules here. Right now we are discussing more about how do we handle or what are the benefit we are going to get it with the help of a AVD first here. So that is the first topic we are going to discuss here. Let's try to see like what are the option has been supported here, and let's discuss about the basic part here. Then slowly we'll be moving on to the user sessions here. Now, so if you talk about the benefit part here, right now we understood like when someone has been talking about AVD part here, Microsoft AVD is a solution that's going to be the one of the best capabilities solution which been supported on into a part here, right? You may be able to see like you have a solution has been available here, which normally has been like you can able to see like able to provide you the Windows 10 or a Windows 11 image here that can be used for configuring the AVD solutions here. Right now, I'm discussing about the benefit which you are going to get it from the Microsoft side here. In case if you are trying to use the Azure Virtual Desktop, what are the benefit you are going to get it from the Microsoft? When we have a consider about a security side here, AVD providing you the best experience from the security perspective here, because if you see this host sessions are not exposed to the internet directly here. So the first feature which you are going to get it onto the AVD side here, I'll just write it here in case if anyone has been taking note here. AVD solutions or virtual desktop. If you take Microsoft virtual desktops are not exposed to the internet here. So not exposed to the internet here. That is the first features here. So if you are trying to use this Microsoft here, it's not exposed to the internet directly here. Also, if your business data never leaves your Azure environment here, so whatever data you are saving here, ensuring that all the data it's been available on in the Microsoft data center here. So if you are considering about mobility, your user have the capability to access your environment or infrastructure from anywhere and using any device here. And in case if you, that maybe the second point here, I'll just write it here in case if anyone has been taking a note. So your business data is like business data never leaves can be accessed from another important point. You may be able to see like can be accessed from any device. It can be accessed from any device, or it's like anywhere you can able to use it here. And another important point from the scalability perspective here, Azure Virtual Desktop provide you the most flexible VDA solution that provide you with the desktop or the app virtualization here. So it's been very adjustable for your infrastructure or environment. So you can scale up or scale down depending upon the customer requirements here. So that means a few action from the performance side here. Your application or data are close to each other here. So that's going to be one of the benefit of your Azure data center here. So you are providing an end user with a lowest latency here. You may be knowing like every time you are going to get it like a customer escalation, like a latency here, right? So since your Microsoft is been configured, your application and data are on in the same data center or close to each other here, Microsoft has been providing you the end user with a low latency depends upon the region availability or the country when you are configuring these solutions here. And when you are moving on to the cost perspective here, AVD does provide you with the most efficient solution here. Also depends upon what type of the license you are using. It all depends upon what type of the license you are using. It's like you maybe heard about M365 license here. So if you already have a M365 license, you are getting the AVD solution management solution. It's a free of cost here. You are just paying for the compute service with the help of the multi sessions on your Windows 10 or Windows 11. So you are saving the compute level. So you're not required to provide each user with a separate VM here. You can just provide you a multiple user with a one VM with the same multi sessions capability here, and you will go. We'll have a detailed discussions about a cost saving on into a different lesson here. So it's about a cost optimization or a cost details. We have a separate session has been coming here. So whatever questions we have been received on the chat here, we'll be having a detailed discussion onto that understanding about a VM, or we are going to discuss about what are the option has been available on into setting up a AVD multi-session. All that will be covering here. Now, when it is coming on to the more onto the business idea. Now, people having a questions here. In case if you want to use it this AVD, which business scenario is been used here? So in case if you are working on in a business here, like where the organization need more secure or a access or a data organization is being needed here, or if the users or the business want to align this is with the compliance industry standards here, you may be heard see working on in a FSI or a healthcare or a government projects here, where you may be seeing like a lot of compliance requirements here, right? So that kind of a scenario, AVD can be the best solution can be given to the client here. Or in case if you are seeing like there is a increasingly elastic workforce here, for example, like nowadays there is a lot of mergers or acquisition or short-term employees you may be needed during the tax timing, or it's like some kind of a big project has been coming. You may have to hire a short-term employees or a contractors, or sometimes you may have to access into your network to the partners here, right? Sometimes you may need a partner access is be needed here, or sometimes you may be having a option, like you may be able to see like you have option is been available onto the cloud here. You can able to see like a employee specific needs here. You may be heard about nowadays there is a concept we are using here. You can see like you can able to see like you have option has been available here. You may be able to see like a BY or OD, right? Bring your own device or a mobile staff, or it's like if you are a call centers or a branch workers are available kind of a situation, you may have to use it here. So all that kind of a situation, your AVD can be the best solution we can able to use it here. So if you have any business which is we need more a governance or a complaints requirements you have here, or employees need to be make you more productive, or it's like you want to ensure that a virtually is the experience on in your PC or a tablet or a browser, uh, wherever they are sitting here, so you can have a AVD solution can use them. So it's basically as an administrator, it's going to make you a simplification on the management, or even for your provisioning or accessing any of the corporate or any of the application here. That benefit you are going to get it with the help of a. So that will ensure that in case the support the customers to migrate onto the cloud here, with the help of a fulfill of the complaints requirement, you can able to use here. So technically it's going to reduce the cost and the resource associated on the on-premises management here. So that is the way the digitally you are going to use it here. So that may be the one point all of us need to remember on into the cloud side here. Now, in case if you are using a Azure VDI solutions here, there you can able to see like Microsoft is or is like your business, it's need a focus on in a different use case here. So the first use case I was been it's been discussing here is the maintenance or the management here, right? Usually if you take any of the on premises or like anti environment, you do have now a kind of a requirement on in a remote support or a system maintenance here, which is the time it's going to be a very challenging, and you may be seeing like a lot of very expensive here, depends upon the resource requirement here. So if you are using a AVD solution on into Microsoft side here, you can reduce your maintenance and even your patching or update management by installing all your application on in a shared gallery image, and then you can able to push it on into your desktop session or a host sessions here. And it's been very handy when it is supporting or publishing any of the legacy app through the kind of a remote virtualization, or basically not as a remote app virtualization, or you may be using a technical word called golden image here. So all such scenarios, in case a user it's been facing a problem with the app itself, or any kind of the functionality not functioning as expected with end of the user, or it's like for an end user here, it would be very easy from an end user support perspective to jump into a services and start kind of a shadow with the end user itself here, and support them on the same host session as well here. Another point of the benefit of the golden image, we can certainly centralize all the application on a specific image, and for sure we'll have validating every app or every services that has been function as expected before here. So we are pushing onto the system. Once it's been pushed into the host session or to the system itself, you will be pretty sure that the services from the end user perspective, or it's a function has been as expected and does not require any additional end user support or a duster support here. So that may be the another point, or that is a one point all of us need to remember here. So that's the one of the benefit which you're going to get it on into the Microsoft side here. So I'll just pause it here. Let's go and see how we can able to implement here rather than focusing more onto the theory part here. So now I'll discuss about the first part. It's about how do we enable a host pool here. So any questions before that here? I'll just pause it here. Any questions so far? All good. I can see like all good here. Okay. So we'll go for the first part here. Give me a second. Okay. So we'll try to do some practicals here. We'll start with the host pool here first. Let's try to see like how do we enable a host pool here. So now, before we are discussing about anything onto the designing perspective here, onto the Microsoft Virtual, we need to understand about the core component here. So that is the first topic I'm just planning to discuss here. So if you start searching onto the Microsoft console here, the first core component which you can able to see onto the virtual desktops, it's called the host pool here. So if you take Azure Virtual Desktop here, so if you just select onto the Microsoft portal, I'll just select it onto the portal here. You may be able to see like I can just give Azure Virtual Desktop here. You can be able to select directly onto the portal here, or you can just go to this uh, option on into the Microsoft side here, right? You may be able to see like if you see onto this Microsoft side here, you have a option has been available where you can able to get Microsoft EVD solution. I already has been taken this EVD side here. So team, I hope you are with me now here. I'm just showing you like how do we configure this services here. So host pool, it can be the one or important core component of your solutions here. So if you select it onto the Microsoft AVD solutions here, the first tool or the host pool, like if you take any Azure Virtual Desktop, host pool you can see as a kind of a centralized mechanism that you are going to configure and make a solution for in a reality here. If you go and configure onto basic settings, this host pool is going to be one of the core component which you are going to be configured here. So before doing all this is kind of a configuration here, you need to ensure that you have a account that's been placed here. So in case if you want to go for any kind of a solution here, first thing you need to have a configuration is been needed, like you need to have a account to be configured onto the Microsoft side here. So that means you need to have a license part is been needed here. So when you are start working onto a VD course here, most of the time people may be having a questions here. Do I need to have any kind of a prerequisite knowledge is be needed here? So if you are trying to understand about AVD management here, the first thing who has been trying to start using of the AVD side here, you need to have only the operating system basic knowledge here. Basically, you need to have a kind of a basic experience is being needed on into operating system, like understanding about what exactly the virtualization, what exactly the operating system here, and what exactly the cloud infrastructure it's been coming on into Azure perspective here. And you need to have some basic knowledge on into a storage structure or a networking also here. So in case if anyone has been start using onto the cloud here, you need to understand about what is the basic knowledge is being needed onto the cloud. It's only the basic knowledge on the operating system or storage has been sufficient here. So if anyone want to start using here, no need to worry about your prerequisites here. Only the basic knowledge on the operating system or the storage it's been needed here. And even if you start working onto the other aspect here, you should have some basic experience on into the consultation level also here. Why I'm saying like a consultation, it's not like the number of years or a number of level of the experience you have, but at least you need to understand about what consultants are normally been doing here. So hence I would require everyone to have a basic understanding about planning, or it's like deploying, or it's like packaging or updating, right? Because sometimes you maybe start hearing this kind of a technical word on in your real-time scenario here. So you need to have some kind of a basic knowledge on the consultation side here. So you have a export more details on into the prerequisites that basically you can able to go for enabling your Azure Virtual Desktop environment here. So I would request everyone to have a basic understanding on in a on-premises virtualization technology that including your Azure virtual networking or understanding about how hard disk is been working, how the communication understanding onto the network configuration side here, including your TCP IP domain, or it's like a DNS, or it's like a virtual private network, or a network firewall, or an encryption technology as well here. So that's the basic knowledge you need everyone to have on in a AVD solution here. You need to have some kind of a basic knowledge on in your Azure Active Directory, that's Entra ID here. That required to understand about why the Active Directory is being needed here, what exactly the users, what exactly the groups are available here, how role-based access control is been working here, because you may be seeing a role-based configuration, right? That basically known as a RBAC concept here. So you need to have some kind of idea about how RBAC, it's like a role-based access control is been working on in a Entra ID here. So the moment when you start working on in AVD, you will be start getting some kind of RBAC kind of a requirements also here. So you need to have a some detailed understanding about Active Directory concept, or that means your Entra ID concept, including the users or a group or a role-based access control also here. Now that's about the role, or it's be like a purpose here, and even you can start understanding about some of the disaster recovery concept also here. In case if you are working on into a cloud here, you need to understand about a couple of the DR concepts also here. So that's the basic knowledge the people need to handle on in a EVD side here. And when you are moving on to the technical precursors here, technical side here. Now, in case if you are start working on to configuring about area, the first requirement that we need to have is like your in case if you want to go for any of the AVD solution, we have to have a identify the identity for your Azure Virtual Desktop here. That may be the first requirement here. So we need a identity provider. So that will be laying over the identity provider to authenticate or authorize who can or the user can access here. So you need to have a identity services be needed here. So the identity option which you can able to use it here. So I'm just talking about like in case if you want to enable a AVD, what are the kind of the solution you need on in your environment here? The first solution you need to have like Azure Active Directory. That means your Entra ID. So you need to have a Entra IDs be needed, or you can able to use your existing Active Directory also here. So that means in case if you are using Active Directory here, you can able to use it your existing Active Directory concept or existing Active Directory solution also here. So in case if you are trying to use it here, you can able to use it on into the cloud here. With the help of that, you can able to use it here wherever you can able to go and configure here, wherever you can able to go and configure this AVD solution. Like a technical side, you need to have a AVD solution. It's been needed here. So Active Directory has been mandatory here. So this identity option or IAM solution, it can be on in your Entra ID, or this can be configured with the Microsoft on-premises Active Directory domain service, or it's like it can be utilized for AVD side. Like in case if you want to go for any of the solution here, so you can able to even use your existing Active Directory also here. Now you may be having a question. In case if I've been configured my Active Directory on an on-premises, how will you connect that one here? What do you think, Tim? In case if I have a Active Directory has been available on in here on-premises, how will you connect to the on-premises here? What do you think? In case if you want to use it on in on-premises here, what is the solution that's been supported here? What do you think? Any questions from anyone? So moving on to the technical side here, Active Directory has been important here. So the point what I'm trying to discuss here, at any point of time, if you're trying to use your on-premises Active Directory here, which can be hosted on in your Azure VM, or even you can able to use your on-premises, so you can able to use your Azure VPN or like any kind of the third-party virtual appliance services for your VPN to utilize your on-premises service here. So the domain controller for your AVD uh, or AVD solution, it's going to be the identity provider here. Second, you need to see like what is the kind of the host, how do we host this logist profile here, which will be used for your profile redirection for your SMB or it's like or a small medium business here. So I would recommend using Azure files as it's been provided you with a lower IOPS comparison to NetApp or any other storage solutions here. So you can able to use the Azure NetApp files here. It's been used for enterprise requirement because it's going to be a bit costly here. So when you are working on into a host profile side here, so in case if you are going to use it for a host FS logic profiles here, we'll just use the host logic profile here. You can able to use your Azure files, or you can able to use your Azure NetApp files here. NetApp files you can able to use here. So in case if you start using Azure NetApp files here, it mainly using for the enterprise requirement because it's going to be a bit costly here because it's starting from a minimum 4 terabyte of the disk storage, and the cost for the standard it's been starting from around $1,200 for the premium, starting from around 2000 on $2,500 here. So usually we utilize NetApp files for the enterprise level and for the Azure file for the SMB or the small business side here. So that may be the technical side you need to consider in case if you are using any of the host files here. And we discuss about the authentication methods here, right? We discuss about like in case if you are trying to use or any kind of the authentication here, we understood like Active Directory or Entra ID we are using here. So in case if you are talking about identity management here, we'll just write the heading here, identity management. So in case if you're speaking about the identity management for Azure Desktop, it's going to be the Active Directory here. So as a hybrid kind of environment here, the prerequisite is that you should or you would require to have a Active Directory here, which is your AD tenant here. So right, you maybe heard about like you need to have a Azure tenant. It's been needed here. So tenant is been mandatory here. So that may be the one thing like you need to have a tenant is been needed or tenant that it hosts in Azure AVD solution here. Then you require a global admin permission on the tenant here, which is your Active Directory, Azure Active Directory or Entra ID. Then you need to have an account with the owner permission for the subscriptions here. So the permission you need is like you need to have an account. You need to have a. I'm just talking about like in case if you are using a AVD solution, what are the technical requirements we have it here. So you need to have a identity management solution, and if you are using Azure Active Directory, you need to have a tenant is needed here. Then you need to have an account with a global admin permissions here. You need to have a account with a global admin permission on Entra ID. So there is a permission we need it here. Then you need to have a account. Another one is been like you need to have an account with owner permissions. You need to have an account with the owner permissions on the subscription level. Okay, on the subscription level, you need to have an owner is been needed with the help of a subscription level here. Where do we configure this one here? If you go back onto the portal here, in case if you want to see this solutions here, like how it's been possible here. If you just go back onto the tenant here, normally if you connect onto the portal here, by default you have a license are available here, right? You may be able to see like if you take any hierarchy of your Active Directory here, if you take any hierarchy of your system, you will have a account will be available. Just below that you have a tenant, it's been available here. Below that you have a management group is been available here. And then you will have a subscriptions are available here. And then you will have a resource group are available here. And then your resources been available here. So the point what we are trying to discuss here, if anyone has been trying to configure a AVD solution, we need a tenant first here. That's the first thing. Second one, you need to have a account which got a owner permission or in a subscription level. Make sense now? Tim, do I need to explain about what is an account, tenant, management group, or a subscription, or a resource group, or a resource? If you are confident, can you comment on the chat? Tim, do I need to explain about what is this account, management group, or a resource group? I believe you may be already knowing this here. That the reason I'm not covered here. Can you just comment here? I can see like a tenant only is being needed here. Uh, Others also, can you just comment here? So possible, like I'll do one thing. I'll just cover this technical side about IAM, what exactly we need. And then I'll cover a little bit intro about this core components here, because I can see a lot of people are new to the cloud here. So possible, like I'll cover that part here. So I'll just discuss about the technical side here first. First of all, you need to have an account, right? As I read, you need to have an account to be created here. Normally, this account you may be able to create inside your Active Directory here. So the point what I'm trying to discuss here, at the moment when you want to use this Microsoft, any of solutions on in the Microsoft side here, any services which you are doing here, whether it's been an AVD solution or it's like a virtual machine or any storage here, these are the mandatory component it's been needed here. And in case if you want to use any of the Microsoft solutions here, first of all, you need to have an account here. You may be already knowing like you can able to use the Microsoft 365, or it's like normally Microsoft is been provided a different type of the accounts here. One you can able to see like Microsoft free account. Another one it's been like Microsoft Azure students account. Another one it's been like you have a Azure enterprise account here, or you can see like Microsoft 365 account you can create, or you can able to use like Microsoft Azure LOD account, or you can able to see like Azure government account here, or sometimes like you can able to use like Azure sandbox also here. So these are the few account which normally you can able to see on in a real-time scenario, where you can able to go and configure the solutions on in AVD, or it's like Microsoft portal here. So the point here, in case if you start using onto the Microsoft portal here, without a account, you cannot use it the solutions here. Make sense? So without a solutions here, right? If you use any of the solutions here, never you can able to configure the solutions without any Microsoft account here. In case if you are not using this here, you cannot log, even you cannot log in also here. So in case if you want to use it here, you need to have a account is be needed here. It's a mandatory here. So if you are using the first time here, for example, like you may be able to see like if you are using a first time here, you can able to go and create a account from the Microsoft side here. See, you may be able to see like you have a solutions are available here, and where you can able to see like you have a solutions is been available here where you can able to enable Microsoft solutions here. So one option is like if you take it on in the Microsoft side here, if you are new to this is like you can able to see like free account you can able to create. If you take a free account, if anyone want to create a Azure free account, I'll just write it here. You can just visit this page here. If you just go to this Microsoft port, and if you just type it Azure free account here, if you just select it onto the Azure page here and type Azure free account here, there's a link you can able to use it here. You can just create it here, right? If you just go to the portal here, there's the link you can able to use here. Now, if anyone want to explore this AVD, or in case if anyone want to test this AVD solution, first of all, you need to have a Microsoft 365 subscription, or you need to have a free account to be available here. So if you are planning to create any of this 365 here, you can just go to this portal here. You can able to go and create this Azure free account. How this free account can be created here? If you just go on to the free account here, you need to provide your email address here. That means you need to provide your name, then you need to provide your email ID, then you need to provide your credit card or a debit card details here. So without that, you cannot create here. So if anyone is planning to create here, you need to have a name, email ID, credit card or a debit card is been needed here. Without that, you cannot create it here. Now, if you created a Azure free account, this will give you 30 days time here, and the moment you create, there is a free subscription will also will be created here. So the moment when you create it here, there will be a free subscription will be created here. So this free subscription will have a $200 will be available here. So if anyone want to create it here, they can able to go and spin this one here. And one important point you need to remember here, after 30 days, if you are not using this account, all the services, or if you're not upgrading your subscription, your account will be moved on into a condition called disabled state here. Make sense? I'm just trying to say that in case if you are trying to configure here, you can able to use this method here. You can able to use this option. With the help of that, you can able to use it here. You can able to see like you can able to see here. With the help of that, you can able to use it here. So you can able to use it. So when you start doing any kind of a testing here, or if you are doing for a part of your self study, start exploring the account here. And in case if you are a student and you are new to this Azure environment, part of your project or part of some of your assignment, you are planning to use your Azure account here, and then you can able to use the students account also here. You can able to use the students account here. So students account can be used here. With the help of your students account, they can able to explore the services here. If you are using a students account here, students account normally allow you to create. If you take any students account, you can provide your ID card or the details here. Students account normally will provide $100 here. So $100 you will get it here, and using $100 you can able to export the services on into a cloud here. So you have option has been available where you can able to configure the services here, where you can able to see like $100 are available. With the help of that, you can able to do here. So you may be able to see like if you connect it onto the solutions here, you may be able to see like you have options are available here where you can able to see like $100 are available where you can able to configure here. So you may be able to see like $100 again. You don't need to provide a credit card or a debit card here. And in case if you take a student's account or a free account, on both the situation, your actions are performed from your side here. But when you are going onto a enterprise or in a project area, Microsoft and your organization will have agreement will be available. They already have a collaboration has been available. So the global admin or your enterprise architect, they will be created. You may be having a dedicated, separated team may be available, not as a IAM team. They will be created. So you don't need to create or you don't need to use your debit card or a credit card here. It's been managed directly by your IAM team here. So there is no additional manual intervention is been needed here. Now you may be having a question if IAM has been created solutions on in a Microsoft side here, are they going to get the same kind of a privilege or the same kind of a permissions on into the portal? No, there is a concept available onto Microsoft here. It's known as a RBAC here. That's called RBAC. That's called role-based access control here. So in case if anyone has been using here, you can able to see like there is RBAC is the concept it's been using here. So in case if anyone has been needed to configure here, you can able to use the concept called RBAC that normally it's been providing you a role-based access control here. So in case if anyone want to use it here, you can able to use like a RBAC concepts are available. With the help of that, you can able to use it here. So that may be the concept which you can able to use it on in a real-time scenario here. So that may be the one important point. You need to confirm it here, or you need to understand on into the cloud side here. I'll pose it here in case if you have any questions so far. You can see this is the solution. You can see it on in the Microsoft side here. Now, in a real-time scenario, you will be using the Azure Enterprise account, and completely it's been managed with the help of a RBAC concept here. A government account, it's normally been coming in case if you are dealing with any of the US federal agency here, because Microsoft has been now configured a isolated data center dedicated for the Azure government here, and you may be able to see like Azure government which been using it. So you able to see like you have an option has been available here where you can able to see like you have an option has been available. You may be able to see like Azure government here, and you will be able to see like Azure government. You may be able to see like a isolated data center here. With the help of that, you can be able to use it here. So that's the way you may be able to see it. You may be able to see like you have a solution has been available where you can able to use it on in a cloud here. You may be able to see like you have a solution has been available, and where you can able to see like Azure government solution has been available onto the Microsoft side here. Now that's about the account creation part here. So in a nutshell, if you are using any of the Microsoft solutions here, without a account, you cannot configure the ABD solution here. Now, one important point you need to understand, the moment when you created a account here, there will be a boundary or a tenant will be created here. So you may be heard about a concept called tenant here. Tenant is nothing. Any idea what is exactly the tenant here? You may be heard about in a Azure Active Directory. There is a you may be heard about in a on-premises Active Directory. There is a concept called domain here, right? Same way for in a Azure network also. So the moment when you configured a Microsoft account, there will be a boundary it's been or a identity management is been enabled that basically used for defining your boundary for your Azure side here. So what is it basically like? It is if you are trying to use it on in a Microsoft side here, it's technically it's been like defining a boundary here. So the moment when you create a solution here, it's technically it's been creating a instance on in a Microsoft solution, which is going to be like it's a kind of a centralized place here where your organization data or users or services are managed here. So when you sign up on Azure, you create Azure tenant automatically here. So you don't need to create separately here. If you just go to onto the Microsoft portal here, so the moment if anyone has been created, you may be able to see there is a default directory or a tenants are created here. So it's automatically it's been created. So when you sign up on in Azure, there is automatically it's been created. But when you are going back onto a project, this has been completely managed by your identity management team here. So this is going to be your a kind of instance, and it's going to be unique for your organization here. This technically it's been using, for example, like if you take the tenant here, you can able to see my name followed by my email ID, and you may be able to see like my tenant details also here. So the key points about a tenant here, one account can have n number of tenants here. Sometimes the people having a confusion or a perception, how many tenant we can able to create on in a one account here. You can able to create n number of tenants here. One important point you need to understand, one subscription can be part of only one tenant at a time here. That's very clear here. You may be able to see like you may be able to see like you have option has been available here. Whenever you start working on your client here, you may be able to see like you have a default directory has been available here, and you may be able to see like the moment when you start working on in a Azure side here, you can able to see like active directory has been available, or that's been Entra ID has been available here. Each Entra ID has been configured with the help of a tenant here. And if you take on a tenant here, I was saying like you can able to create n number of the tenants here. It's not only one tenant. You can able to create multiple tenants here, and at a time one subscription. If you can see like any subscriptions here, if you take any subscriptions here, you can see like a subscription. If you take a subscription here, one subscription can be part of only one tenant at a time here. So when you go for configuring here, at a time one subscription can be part of only one tenant at a time here. So technically what I'm trying to discuss here, if you take the hierarchy of your Azure side here, you will have an account will be available here. Your account can have a multiple tenant, but if you take your tenant the subscription side here, if you take the subscription side, one subscription will be part of only one tenant at a time here. So this basically have a one-to-one relationship with the one tenant and the subscription here. That means you cannot have a multiple tenant. It's been possible here at a time. Multiple tenants is possible, but multiple multiple tenant cannot be tagged to a single subscription here. Is that point is been clear? Team, is that point is been clear? What exactly the tenant is been available here? Is that the point is been clear here? Great. Any questions from anyone? Clear, great. Let's take a 10 minutes break now. Almost at 2 hours now here. So next we'll discuss about the other part here. So let's take a 10 minutes break and be back. Thank you. I hope you're back. I hope you're back. Hey team, I hope you're back. I hope you're back. So we are discussing about in case if you want to configure a AVD from a technical side, what are the things to be configured on your side, and we are trying to understand about how the hierarchy has been coming here. So the point I was been discussing here, if anyone has been configuring a AVD here, that AVD will be configured as a service or it's been like a resource here, and AVD you will have a billing will be available here. That AVD will be part of a resource group, and resource group will be part of a subscription. Subscription will be part of a tenant, and tenant will be part of an account here. So we got a request from people if we can just give a brief idea about what tenant, what is a subscription here. That discussion currently we are doing here, and we understood like in case if anyone want to set up any of the AVD solution, we need to have a IAM solution. It's been mandatory and it's been available on the portal here. There is a mandatory here. So that is a discussion so far we had. So right now we understood like if anyone has been configuring any of the resources here, tenant is been created automatically onto the portal here, and one account can have a many subscription to be configured here, but you cannot use or you cannot have one subscription to be part of a multiple tenant. That is not possible yet. So we need to ensure that one tenant has been part of only one tenant at a time here. So one subscription is only part of a one tenant at a time here. So that is a discussion currently we had here. And when you are moving on to the subscription part here, many times people have a confusion here. How many subscription you can able to create on in a account here? Is there any kind of a limitation here? So if you take Microsoft scenario here, you can able to create n number of subscription here. That is the way normally it's been like organizations are doing. So the moment when you are someone has been trying to create a account here, normally it's been like it's going to be created um, more than one subscription. It depends upon how you want to isolate your infrastructure here. Because if you take any of the organization here, normally the organization will isolate the environment by giving like a solutions like multiple subscription for each and every services here. That means like a production you will have one, then if you take it on into a other side here, you will have a, for example, like non-prod you will have another subscriptions, then you will have for staging will have another subscription. So like this you will have a n number of the subscription will be created here. So that will ensure that that will be the isolation has been provided here. So when you are trying to create any of these solutions here, for example, like in case if you want to go for any of the solutions here, you can create multiple subscription here. Now, when you are trying to configure on into a subscription part here, you need to review what is the quota limit available for a subscription here. That may be the first point you need to remember in case if anyone has been going to configure any of the subscription here. The first important point you need to ensure that if you are trying to use any of the solutions here, there is a dedicated quota limit by default. It's been applied on into Microsoft side here. So if you are trying to configure any of the solutions here, please ensure that in case if you are trying to configure any of the solutions here, by default Microsoft has been applied a quota limit here. So you need to go and see as an architect whether the Microsoft solution or your subscription has been having a right permissions or a limit available here. If you just go onto the Microsoft side here, if you just go onto the Microsoft portal on in a subscription tab, you will be able to see what kind of the limit you have available on into the each subscription here. If you go to this subscription tab here, if you are working as an AVD solution here, the first thing you need to go to each and every subscription here, check the AVD solution by clicking this usage or a quota limit here. So what I was been trying to discuss here, if anyone has been trying to configure this Azure Virtual Desktop here, in case if you are trying to create a AVD solution, the first solution you need to select a host to put. On the backend, you will have a your Active Directory or Entra ID or all other components are coming here. In case if you want to use all this tenant or it's like a host to put, it's mandatory that you need to have a subscription to be created here. So I was saying here, before selecting any of the subscription here, your organization may be used a role-based access control here. Where role-based access control, it's been like authorized what kind of the resource each user can able to use it on in an environment. You will have a dedicated RBAC policy. It's been applied on in your organization here. So what you can able to do here, when you go back onto the portal here, you have a RBAC policy or a permissions are it's been configured here, and you need to go and review each and every subscription here by selecting subscription. You can just go to this subscription here. On the subscription tab, if you select it here, there is an option you can able to see here that's called usage and the quota here. If you select this usage or a quota limit here, you may be able to see there is a current limit available on in each and every subscriptions here. So if you see here, you may be able to see like you have option has been available onto the portal here, right? You can see here. You may be able to see like you have an option is been available onto the option is here, right? You can see like you have option has been available. You have an option has been available onto the portal onto the clear, right? You can see here you have a solution has been available here, right? You may be able to see the certified trainer is the subscription has been available here, and here you can able to see your all the categories here. So this AVD has been coming under the compute category here. If you see here, if you just scroll back here, you can see how many what is the quarter limit we have here, and how many host pool you can able to create here. All this you can able to select it here. For example, like in case if you want to search it here, host pool. If you select here virtual desktop, if you just select it here, see all your resource details you can see here. It's showing only the virtual machine skill set. Let me check it. Virtual machine has been showing here. We just go and check all these pages here. Search bar has been, unfortunately, it's been not showing that. Just giving all the disk, and I just try to give this a search based on the keyword. It's been not showing. So let's, if you just here, you can just select this options here where you can able to see the quota limit here, where you can able to see like what are the kind of the solution has been supported onto the cloud here. You may be able to see like you have option has been available here where you can able to see subscription has been supported onto the cloud details you can see here. So at any point of time, if you are working as a cloud SMA or architect here, please ensure that you are reviewing this page here where you can able to see it, right? You may be able to see it, right? You may be able to see. Okay, so you can see this quota option has been available here where you can able to configure it. So this is the option you can able to use here. With the help of that, you can able to configure the quota options here. Now that's about the quota limit here. Now, the moment when you are trying to create here, first thing you need to create multiple subscription here, and AVD you can able to create different host port. It depends upon your organization one here. Then inside this one again you can able to create a lifecycle component that's called a resource group here. I'll show you how a resource group has been coming here. For example, like I have a multiple lifecycle components are available here. One, I need to create a dedicated resource group for my AVD. Second one for my production here. So what normally I'll do for all my database, I'll give like production DB servers here. So all my database or it's like a project, I'll be giving like production DB. That is my VM servers, or it's whatever application you want, you can able to give here. I'll just create a resource group here. So all my server, I'll be configuring inside that one here. If you see here, I'll just go and create my on-premises one here. I'm not talking about a AVD here. I'm just trying to show you the difference between a resource group when it is coming onto the cloud here. I'm just trying to set it this one. I just given like 16 here. I'm just trying to create a review and create here. Ignore and create. You can see this validation completed. and it's been created here. It's been progressing. It's been progressing here. You can see this deployment. Currently, it's in progress here. You may be able to see like the deployment. It's been currently has been progress here. You can see this has been progressed on in the VM creation here. Now, I'm trying to show you a resource group point here. Right now, if you see here, generally you are creating a resource group that for the server. In case if you want to isolate your ABD inside your subscription, normally we'll be creating a dedicated resource group for the ABD pool here. You will create a host pool saying that this is for my prod, this is for my UK client, and this is my host pool here. You can just give like ABD host pool one, whatever you want, you can able to host pool. So you can able to give like a host pool RG. So tomorrow, if all your resources related to the host pool can be created here. I'll just create a host pool like this here, or I'll create a resource group like this here. See, I'll just go and create a resource group. I'll just give like a prod hyphen ABD. I'll just give like this is for my a project called Bank of America, or it's like or the client name called Orange, and this is my ABD pool here. So I'll give like ABD pool one. My client name I'll give it's like Orange. I'll give like ABD pool RG. So this can be created here. So this will ensure that you are isolating your prod resources here. Second one, you can able to see like it's been isolating your AVD pool solutions also. Yes. Technically, you are isolating your prod and the AVD solutions. So right now you can able to see there is a dedicated resource group. It's been created. You see, there is a resources group. You can see this has been created for the AVD, and you have created a dedicated for your production system also here. Now, if next time when you're trying to create a AVD solution, you can able to create a host pool completely on in this dedicated pool here. So if any metadata has been coming here, you can able to create inside the same host pool here. You can able to see this. You can able to use here. So you may be able to see like you have a option has been available here where you can able to configure here, right? You may be able to see like you can see this is the way the configuration has been coming here. So you have a host pool has been coming, and where you can able to see like you can able to create it here. So if you go back onto our previous discussion here, when you just go back onto the previous discussion, you were been redirected from this IAM discussion here, right? So we were discussing like if anyone want to create any of the solutions here, first of all you need to have a solution has been available where you can able to go and deploy your uh, you can able to go and deploy your IAM module first here, and tenant is been needed here. And if you are configuring a tenant, First of all, you need to have a Active Directory tenant is Entra ID tenant is being needed. Then you need to have a account with a global admin permission. Then you need to have a account with a owner permission. Then you need to have a domain controller in case if you are actually it's been created a owner permission. Sometimes you can see like people will be using a contributor role also here, but some of the deployment you required more permissions is being required here. For example, like in case if you're working on in a hybrid kind of environment, you would require a domain controller that is going to be synchronized with the Azure AD or it's like a Entra ID for a synchronization here. So that means in case if you take a scenario here, you already have a on-premises setup has been available here. That means you have a on-premises ADDS has been available, and you are going to be integrated. This is with a cloud Entra ID. You may be having another kind of IAM solution, right? So that kind of a situation, you need to have a hybrid environment to be enabled here. That will ensure that whatever user account which have been created on the ADDS, that is been synchronized with your Entra ID here. So you may be able to see like you have a Entra ID has been available here, and you may be able to see like that Entra ID has been synchronized with whatever user account which has been configured here. So you may be having a ADDS to Entra ID synchronization has been possible here. Two type of a synchronization method we are using. One it's like a PTA method, and another one it's like a PHS here. By default, PHS is the synchronization method has been available here. So my point here, there are some situation if you are trying to use a integration on in a on-premises to cloud here, you can able to use your AD connect or it's like Entra ID connect, which will help you to do a hybrid kind of integration. So you will require like have a solution where you can able to do a Active Directory and ADDS synchronization here. So you would require to have a AD connect installed on in a domain controller, or it's like in a technically you will be using a separate members over here. So if you take a Microsoft documentation, never ever we recommend people to install your Entra ID Connect on top of your production domain controller here. Always we prefer to keep it a separate member server here. This member server to be part of your ADDS. Same time, this need a connectivity to the Entra ID also. So you need to have a enterprise connectivity or enterprise admin is be needed on in one hand. On the other side, you may be need to have a you may be able to see like you need to have a global admin permission also it's been needed here. So this may be the option has been available here. You can able to see like you can able to configure it on in a cloud here. You may be able to see like you have a option has been available. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. So these are the two solution you may be able to see like available onto the cloud. With the help of that, you can able to configure on in a real-time scenario here. Is that point has been clear? So I'm just trying to see like you have option has been available. With the help of that, you can able to configure it on in a real-time situation. So you require a AD connect to be installed. That's all on in a member server, and even the preferred method you can able to configure a separate VM that will be connected between on-premises and the cloud here, and that will ensure that the communicating with your domain controller to synchronize with whatever identity which has been available on a ADDS here. And the last step it's been like you need to ensure that your Azure subscription contain the virtual network that's been connected here. So if you take any of the Windows Server Active Directory, if your VM has been hosted on in Azure, it can directly connected over the VNet using a VM peering here, right? So if the VM has been on in on-premises, you need to have a VPN to be configured here. So normally I was saying like all the kind of the solution which you are trying to create it on in a on-premises VM, you will be using a peering here. For example, like if you have a multiple network which have been created on in a on-premises, sorry, in a Azure scenario, this will be connected with the help of a concept called peering, or any connection. If you want to do a VM between a on-premises, you need to have a VPN to be configured here. So that is the point. You can able to see it here. So whenever you are trying to configure it on in a solution here, you may be able to see like you have a solution has been available where you can able to see like you can think about enabling a VPN here. So you can able to see like you have option has been available here where you can able to see like whenever you are trying to configure any of the solution, you can able to go for configuring a VPN. If it has been using on in a on-premises scenario, you may have to use the other options here where you can able to see like you can able to think about configuring a other concept here called VNet peering it. So internally, you are going to be configured with the help of this solutions here. Make sense? So that is the way the configuration has been coming here. So we have a cloud organization currently it's been available here, where you have a Active Directory has been available here, and in case if you want to have any kind of integration, you can able to use that options here. That's about the virtual network, or it's like that's about the ADDS here, and definitely you need to have a VNet or NSG rule also it's been it's be configured here. So I'll be showing or you'll be taking on to that all the points here. How do we configure the NSG, or it's like we'll discuss about how do we enable the VNet or a VNet peering. All that point we'll discuss here. So technically, I'm just concluding this points or requirements here. If anyone needs me need to configure any of the services here, you may be able to see like a VNet, VNet peering, or a communications are mandatory here. So you can see like you can see like you have option has been available. You have an option has been available here. So that is the options been available here. You can see this is the requirement of the technical side here. Now, let me try to give you some of this infrastructure part here. Now, when you start working on into the infrastructure side here, right now we discuss about how this technical side has been possible here, and right now we are seeing like Active Directory and other part here. Now, before we start, let's have a look on into this how this perspective on the infrastructure side here. So in case if you first step, it's like you are going to configure your implementing a network components first here. So if anyone has been trying to do a configuration here, the first part we need to ensure that you are implementing your networking first here. That may be the first component or the first step you need to do here. First step is you are going to implement a networking component that's going to be work hand to hand with your Azure Virtual Desktop solution here. The second step, you are going to configure our storage requirement based on the business requirement here. And the third step or the third step is going to be like configuring our host pool and how we configure the host creations or the permissions. All that will be covered on the third stage here. So if anyone has been planning the AVD solution, first we need to focus on implementing a networking here. Then you can able to start working on to the implementing 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 storage and manage also. You can just work on this implement and storage and manage here. And then last step will be going to be the create and configure host pools, and session host. You can see like it's been the host pool here. So this is the steps you can able to follow here. So these are the preliminary like when you are planning here, better to plan this way here. That will be easy for it to configure here. So I hope you are good with this one here. Now, first thing we'll try to do the resource group creation here. So right now we are let's go and create a resource group here. We'll try to go and prepare a resource group first here, and then we'll go and implement your networking here. So let's go and delete your existing components here. Let me do one thing like I'll just go back to this resource group here. Let's try to implement these things here. So I'll delete this components here first. So let's the first step we are going to do. We are trying to create the first step. We are creating a resource group here. That's the first activity we are trying to do. I'll just delete this all this existing component here to avoid all the level of the confusions here. I'll just delete this. Give me a moment. Currently, this creation is in progress here. Let's wait. I'm just decommissioning this components here. I'm just checking this decommissioning here. Give me a moment. I hope you can able to see my screen here. It's been still this decommission, or currently it's been progressing here. You can see this decommission currently it's in progress here. Let's wait for a moment here. Okay. So right now you can see this has been progressing here. Okay. Once this resource group is got deleted, we'll start working onto the AVD side here. Give me a second. This is progressing here. Decommissioning. We need to wait that to complete here. Now this has been progressing here. Look like that subscription is got an issue here. So I'll do one thing like I'll go back to this resource group here. Suppose like I'll start working on into this resource group here. So the one which have been created, it's not decommissioning here. Look like there is a subscription, it's got disabled here. That may be the reason, because if you take one subscription is got disabled here, so that may be the reason it's not decommissioning. So I'll do one thing. I'll just go back here to this individually and just try to delete this, so you will not get any kind of a confusions here. This sometimes like subscription may be locked. You will have this kind of issue. You're not in a position to decommission here. My one subscription is got locked here. So that's the reason. We'll wait this method here. In case if it is not possible, we'll go ahead and create resources on in another locations here. Let's connect it here. It will take a few seconds here. Okay, so right now just inside this resource group here. So right now we are trying to start preparing your infrastructure for your AVD, and we are trying to create all the shared resources also here. So when you are trying to create a AVD, you'll be seeing a lot of shared resources, which is going to be work hand to hand with your AVD services here. So right now I'm jump into a portal here. Right now I'm going to discuss about my subscription here. Then we'll be start creating a resource group here. The first resource group that we are trying to create it here, it's going to be a shared resource group here. That's going to be used for sharing all your storage account, or it's like log diagnostic tool here. So I'm trying to create multiple resource group here. Right now I'm just trying to use it for one for the shared resources here. Usually I follow a specific naming standard here, so that will understand what is my resource group here and what is the purpose of my resource group here. So even when you are part of your existing like in your office here, Each and every office also you may be able to see there is a consistent naming conversions here. So you can able to see like when you are working on in a real-time scenario here, you may be able to see like in office also you have a consistent naming standard to be followed here. That will understand how you are isolated here, where exactly that resource group or Azure resource is been using here. I use I start use normally use with some kind of a prefix here with a workload, or it's like adding the environment as a kind of a shortcuts here. So I'll just try to create it here. For example, like let me try to create a resource group here. As I said, like I'll be use some kind of a shortcut here. For example, like I'm just creating one for the shade. So I'll just try to create like RJ. I'll just try to create as a PRD, and then I'll try to create as a shade 01, and this is going to be used for my um, one of my AVD solution here. So I'll just try to give this a name like here. Okay. So right now I'm just trying to create a resource group for a production shared with just a 01 is a number. I'm trying to create going to be created on in a Middle East locations here. Possible like I'll try to create on in a UAE, or it's like a West Europe. So this kind of location I'm going to create it here. So depends upon your solution you can do here. I'll just try to add one more here for understanding. I'll try to add this is for my EVD solution. If someone else when trying to use it, they will be able to understand here. I'll just try to use it. My location has been like a West Europe here. So that's been close to my location. So I'll just try to give it like a West here. Look like my keyboard, it's been not taking. So let me reconnect. One second. When I just queue on this location. Okay. I'll just try to create a West Europe here. West Europe. So I'll just try to create. And possible like I'll go ahead with West Europe here, because where I can see like most of the times all the supported services or solutions I have seen here. Usually whenever we are trying to create any of the resources here, prefer to use as a resource tag here. If you take any of the Microsoft solutions here, each and every resource will support up to 50 resource tag here. So that's be easy in case if tomorrow if you want to do any kind of a resource building, or it's like or in case if you are doing any kind of auditing, it's be easy for us to find out where exactly this has been used here. So in case if you are using, you can able to use here. You may be able to see like you have an option has been available here. So that's the way it's been normally it's been configured here. So you may be able to see like you have a solution has been available here, and where you can able to create a tag here, or you can understand where is your workload has been available here, what is the kind of a environment we are using here. So this kind of solution you can able to give it here. So I'm just trying to give it's like E for my environment here. I'll just try to give it like my solution here. Environment is going to be the production. I'll just give some values here. Environment is going to be the prod here, and PRD has been using for the identifying the production here. And then I'll try to use it some of the virtual desktop here, right? Then I'll try to give it like my workload, right? It's going to be the AVD here. I'll just try to use like my workload. It's going to be for my AVD here, and I'll give this application owner, or it's going to be Robin here. So I'll just give it this kind of details here. So this has been going to be a shared resource group here. That's I'm going to create it here. So let's give this click hit OK, review and create, and trigger this installations here. So right now I'm just trying to create a shared resource. Then let's go and create that one here. Now this validation has been completed, and resource group creation it's been progressing here. Let's wait for this to complete here. You can see it's been progressing here. Right now, this is creation. You may be able to see it's been progressing here. Let me just share this resource group here. One second, if we can just you can see this resource group. It's got created. Let me refresh here. So we have been created a resource track, and you have been created this resource group here, right? We just created here. Oh, you can see here. First resource group is created, right? You can see here this first resource group has been created here. I'll follow the same in naming conversion for my rest of the resource group here. Instead of a shared here, I'll make it a separate one here. Possible like I'll make it on in the same West Europe location here. So I'll just create one more resource group here. Right now we have only one here, so we need multiple resource group here. So I'll create more here. Possible like I'll do one thing. I'll just copy that name. So it's been easy for me. Give me a moment. I'll just copy this same name here. I'll just copy the same thing here. I'll just replace this shade with AVD here because I'm just trying to create one more here. So just go back here. I'll just try to create the same West Europe here. Now, when I'm trying to create here, this is a creation. I'll just create this AVD01. I'll use like AVD01. Okay, this is going to be used for my AVD here. I'll just try to use this for my same role here. I'll just use this is for my Enterprise, it's been like a prod. I'll use prod workload. It's going to be the AVD here. AVD. Suppose we like I'll 01, right? Okay, yes, great. I'll just try to create another one now. I'll create it here. Okay. I'll just review and create. I'm just creating here. So we are trying to create multiple resource group here. Right now you can see second resource group also has been created here. Now I'll create one for my domain controller here because we were discussing about authentication, authorization, right? So we need to have a dedicated resource group is been needed for DC also here. So I'll do one thing. I'll create one for my Active Directory also, another resource group. I'll just give it like ADDS 01 here and going to be created onto the same location here. So there's another one is for the domain service here. You can able to use it like a security and monitoring. So all this is needed here, right? So for that, I'm just creating one more. I'll use this AVD for my Active Directory here. So this resource group has been created. So this you have a 3 here now. Now I'll try to create one more for my security and monitoring also. I'll just try to create for my sec monitoring. It's all the kind of a monitoring that I'm going to try to do with the help of another one here. So AVD, I'll just create all my monitoring solution. I'll going to be used on, and this is a separate resource group here. So technically using your resource group for isolating resources here. It's like rather than placing all your Active Directory or a monitoring component, everything on in the same location, you are creating an isolated lifecycle logical container within the subscription here. And this all is just a resource group that will be using for grouping all the resource here. We are going to create a resource or it's like AVD hotspot in the late stage here. I can see there is a one question on the chat from Muhammad here. Muhammad is asking, what is the use of a tag here? Tagging is nothing like it's a kind of a if it's possible like Muhammad, if you can just take a scenario here in your home when you are making any kind of electrical work, right? You maybe heard about MCB or it's like ELCB. Your electrician, you may be putting a tag here. This connection has been coming from a living room, or this connection has been coming from a kitchen. Or if you go on into a data center or a data room, people are using a labeling there, right? This cable has been coming from so and so switch or a so and so IO port, right? So in a issue scenario here, a resource tag is kind of a label here, which you can able to apply on top of a resource group or a subscription or a resource that will be able to organize or your manage better here. If you see here, you have been created a shared pool here, right? Tomorrow something it goes wrong, you want to find out who exactly using here. See, if you open here, with the help of this tag, you can able to identify, oh, this has been using by Robin here, or this has been used for your AVD solution, or this has been part of my production network here, right? So it's been easy for you to identify or label, or you can able to organize or manage here. So this basically it's like you can able to use for a filtering. If tomorrow, if Mohammed, if you want to find out what is the cost has been currently Robin has been using here. So you can just go to the cost management or a billing here with the help of a cost analysis here. For example, like tomorrow you want to find out what is the cost currently AVD solution has been using here. You can able to go by the filtering options here. Here you have an option here, tag. See here, if you just go inside here, you can just see this option called filtering. You can able to resource like tag ways. See, you can able to see the option called tag ways. Right now this tag has been just created here. It will take a few minutes for reflecting here. Then you can able to filter based on your tag here. So that's be easy for you to do organization, uh, uh, management, or in case if you want to tomorrow if you want to put some kind of a permissions here, all that can be possible here. Okay, so that's the way the tag it's been used here. So that's about the resource group part here. So right now, if you go back onto the portal here, you have a isolated resource groups are currently available here. This is going to be used for enabling your AVD solution here. Right now, you can see one we have been used for your shared solution, one you have been created for your security or the monitoring solution, one you have been kept for your AVD host pool, and one you kept dedicated for your networking, or it's like your host pool or a kind of a solutions here. So you may be able to see like all the solution is being created. One we are missing, we need one for your networking also here. So we need a one for your network components also here. So that has been missing here. So when you're trying to create it here, let's create one for your network components also here. So all your network component are going to be kept inside this one here. So I'll create one more for your networking also here. So now all the resources group are required for your AVD has been ready here. Now we are going to configure all your dependent resource inside that one here. So technically you are going to be create your host board or a user profile, everything inside here. Now we are almost on the time here. So Chirag will pause it here because the next module we need to deploy the services that may need a longer discussion. So we'll continue that installation first in the morning tomorrow here. Over to you, Chirag. So Chirag will be connecting in a moment. So team, right now we have been prepared your designing phase here. So we have created resource group. We understood like a tenant. So that part has been over. So tomorrow we'll be starting with implementing your AVD or a host pool, then tenant, then user profile on top of this resource group here. Since we are almost on the time here, we cannot complete a host pool creation in another 5 minutes here. So I'm just posing here for Q&A here. And in case if you have any questions so far we have been discussed, let's go for that. Or if you're good, let's continue in the morning. If you're good, can you put a like button, team, please? Team, if you're good and whatever topics we have been covered so today, if you are able to follow, can you just put a like button on the chat? So thank you, team. Then let's connect first in the morning. Have a great evening. Talk to you tomorrow. Thank you. Our recording will be getting you for everyone. And tomorrow, completing the you'll be getting a participation certificate. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you everyone for joining as well. Thank you, Robin, for the session. And it was a long but informative session. Hope you guys were able to grasp everything. And I see a couple of links were shared. I will bring all the links together and make sure that is noted. So we'll be sharing a follow-up email to the email so that you have all the links so far discussed and you can go back there